And welcome to a little Saturday afternoon high school football Muck Bowl style. Can't beat it. It's coming up. We'll have a lot with you. Troy Drayton with me, former tight end of the Miami Dolphins. Troy, first Muck Bowl?
First Muck Bowl.
All right, we're going to be ready to go. We're going to be talking about it. Pahokee against Glade Central. Of course, the Audible High School Football Fridays presented by Nike. The season has arrived, and it's time to get the latest gear. Check out Nike.com for more information. We got our Nike stuff on. We're ready to go. Plenty of stuff. And by the way, Nike, you keep kicking out that new stuff because we love wearing it, man. We love wearing it on Friday and Saturday. Hey, pretty cool being over here. You know, it's so close to Dade Broward.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are. You hear about Muck Bowl from about the time you sign with the Dolphins.
Yes.
And then you get to see how big high school football is when Pahokee and Glade Central play against each other, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes apart. Everybody knows everybody. The families went to different schools and got married, and it's crazy.
The alliances are already there, so you already know what sides are on. I mean, this is one of the greatest rivalries in probably the history of high school football, and it's right here in our backyard.
It is great, and we call it the best-kept secret, unless, of course, you're over this way, and you're probably familiar. The sugarcane is all around us over here, one of the largest sugarcane growing areas in the world, and of course the Muck is part of it there, and of course they brought it right into their high school football. So anyway, and just to tell you the history of high school football and the players that have played here, that have played in the National Football League, nobody's given back to their high school more than Anquan Bolden. This is Anquan Bolden Stadium, one of the great wide receivers to ever play. Went to Florida State, went to Pahokee, but has given to both these schools lots of stuff about guys giving back to the community. Boy, this guy, he's right at the top.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a beautiful stadium, and I think a lot of people, you have to get out here and actually see it to realize how beautiful a stadium it is. And, you know, a guy like Anquan Bolden giving back to his community, building a stadium and having – you know, both high schools competing here and doing a lot of things at the stadium, man. It's
pretty cool.
It's a great way to give back, but it's also a great way to get your name on the stadium.
Yeah, that's right. When you come in and you get to see it from the main road. I got to share one thing with you coming in here. I've been down here since 1980. I know Troy's been down here a long time. We got here 2 hours early, and the cars were loaded up, waiting to get in the front gate. It's a big game over here, and the community shuts down to make sure, whether it's a Friday night or a Saturday evening, to make sure they're here and they got their tickets.
This is a community game. I mean,
That's
again, they're only about 5 miles apart, and you know the whole community comes out and supports these teams. So, I mean, when you look around, it's a very comfortable atmosphere. Everybody knows everybody. I mean, everybody knows everybody for years, for 20 plus years. You grow up here. You play football here. You went to high schools at one of the high schools. So they know the talent. So I can only imagine, you know, the guys that are on this field, those are generational football players that are out there.
Well, Jesse Hester, who's going to join us, the head football coach at Glade Central, how about that story? I mean, and you talk about a guy that – and he's going to join us right now. Jesse Hester, head football coach, played here, went to Florida State, played in the NFL forever. And guess who's back coaching as a head coach with a big smile on his face, and he joins us. Jesse, it's great to have you, and it's great to finally – I've heard great things about you forever, and I know this community, how important it is to you. And being part of the Glade Central High School football program, being a head coach, got to be great for you.
It most certainly is. I mean, it's a tremendous honor, no doubt, to represent the community, a proud community, especially about their football team.
Yeah, Jesse, for you, I was just talking about, you played here. You've been all over playing in the NFL. You went to Florida State, but you came back. Talk about that decision you can be anywhere you want in the country. After playing, you decide to come back home.
Most certainly. I thought as a youngster myself, we had a lot of prominent guys to come out of the area, but I never saw them. You know, you always heard about them, but I never saw them. So I felt like, you know, once I got off and I made a name, I wanted to make sure that I came back and be a physical presence so kids can actually physically touch me and realize that I'm a real person and that they also can be successful.
You know, Joe, what you don't know about this dude was one of my mentors when I first got in the league.
I did not know
I
that.
played with Jesse
awesome.
with the LA Rams.
Wow.
So to see him back in high school coaching, I mean, he was a guy who mentored me. Tell me how special of a game this is for you every year.
It is a big game, no doubt about it, because the two communities are so close in proximity. And it's only for bragging rights. Nothing else is done, but it's simply just bragging rights. You have family ties and all of this type of stuff that goes on with this deal, but you can't lose this game.
Right. Hey, and at the same time, a little added spice for you. Your son's on the team, and he's a really good football player. What is that like? We've had it happen 3 or 4 times this year where we've had the head football coach and his son on the team. How is that for you? Tell me the good and bad of having your son.
Well, the good part about it, like you said, he's an excellent football player, and so you're able to use him in ways that very beneficial to the team. But a lot of times it's a little difficult too because you don't want the other guys to think that because of that relationship you kind of favored him a little bit. So that dynamics, kind of has a little downside to it.
Tell us about the lineage of football players that come from both sides. I know Kelvin Benjamin is one of those guys that you used to coach.
Exactly.
So just tell us about the lineage of players, of NFL football players that come out of both of these high schools.
No doubt about it. Just to start off, Ricky Jackson, Hall of Famer Ricky Jackson.
We'll start at the top. All right.
Exactly. Played here at Pahokee High School, and also Anquan Bolden, another guy who played here at Pahokee High School. And, Glade Central, of course, we have Fred Taylor. It's a good, nice, prominent name.
Nice start.
No doubt about it. And also, like I say, myself and
Santonio Holmes, we got to throw him in.
We got to throw our own Louis Oliver, Miami Dolphins.
That's right.
So the list go on and on and on about the guys that had come through here.
It's amazing. From this small area, how many guys? Now, football is a year-round deal. There's been documentaries and stuff, but for the area, it's not that big to have so many guys in the NFL in the past and present.
I mean, no question about it. It's a phenomenon that I really can't explain. I know the kids work hard. I mean, kids work hard all over the country. But it's just something special about these kids. They seem to have at least one out of every batch of a special talent. Right. And why is that, I have no idea, but it happens.
Yeah, well, kids love their football. I got to add this. I know Troy and you guys played together. I don't want to take away your time. The coolest thing I always hear, and I saw the documentary, I heard it when I got here, about burning the sugar cane, the rabbits, and chasing them, and then they had a documentary on ESPN. How legit is that a lot of these kids do that?
That is very legit. Kids does it for sport, and they does it for the support. Right. Because when they go out and chase the rabbit, of course, they can make a pretty little penny because it's a nice little delicacy around the community. So, it's for real. I did it as a youngster as well. It's very, it's a challenging thing. Yeah, it's a challenging thing to chase down a rabbit.
For the rest of the world going, wow, they really do catch those rabbits.
Most certainly.
So explain to us about the Muck. What is actually the Muck and what is behind the Muck Bowl?
Well, the Muck itself is just mainly because of the rich soil that all of these sugar canes and all the other crops that they grow here. And this is basically the economic backbone of the community is its soil and stuff like that. And then to topple that with the two community high schools and the proud tradition that it has and those types of things, man, it just really builds for pride and, and all of that stuff in your communities. And it's just, like I said, it's just a fantastic atmosphere when you come and you talk about both of these schools.
Jesse, I want to ask you, this is it for the for regular season, the playoffs ready to start. You're in 4A, which means, let me see, University, Booker T. Have you had a chance? I know you're getting ready and this game's important, but are you aware of all the other 4A teams that you could be playing in the next couple of weeks?
No doubt about it. We know who the competition are out there, and we most certainly are keeping eyes on those guys. And like you said, Booker T and University are two formidable teams that we have to definitely look out for because one of those guys we most certainly, or maybe both, that we can cross paths with.
Now, I know you have some other ties with the Miami Dolphins because you took a Glade Central team up to the national 7-on-7 and won it. that year. Tell us how special that was to win that national 7-on-7 for your Glade Central High School.
That was big, and then that was actually my first turn coaching here at Glade Central High School, and to be able to go down and actually compete down in Miami against those guys, those schools down there, and to come out of that deal, I knew right then if we was able to get out of that deal that wherever we went that we were going to win it all, because that pool, to get out of that pool of play was ridiculous. And we did it back to back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesse, the 7-on-7 has become such a big part of high school football now. How do you feel about it, a guy that played in the skill position, to see so many of them almost every week now? Do you like it?
It has its good and its bads, of course, because it works out well with the quarterback just to get his reads and his timing down with the receivers and the defensive backs. Because we use it because we only play man-to-man, so we want no guys to go out there and compete and just scrap. But you get the little false comfort zone because 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 is totally different football. And so we don't want those two things to get misconstrued, because 11-on-11 is what's most important. But you have to get some benefit out of the 7-on-7, and mainly that's the quarterback play.
You know, when you think about the guys that are from this community, how often do you see those guys come back now? Because I know you helped tutor a young Isaac Bruce, who is now a guy who is potentially going to be in the Hall of Fame at some point in time. So tell us how important it is for guys like that to your guys to come back and actually pass on what they know to these younger guys.
No doubt about it. Matter of fact, Santonio Holmes and myself was talking just that, because we have a slew of wide receivers to come out of the area and to go into the league, and we basically just hold a wide receiver camp, and just really, pour out all of that we know into these kids. Yeah. And I think that's going to be a tremendous deal. Even Jimmy Spencer, a Denver Broncos longtime player there, is going to do a defensive back deal. So no doubt about it. You just have to come back, and so the kids can physically see you. Mm-hmm. And that's such a because I wasn't a real big guy. So when they first saw me, they'd be like, yes, you can do it too.
You can do it too. That's great, Jesse. Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you spending some time with us. I did not know about you and Troy, man. That was all. That made the whole night.
That's
right there.
That's my guy, man.
Yeah, good luck with everything.
Definitely appreciate that, guys, and enjoy the game, and really appreciate it once again.
Right. Thanks again.
Jesse Hester, head football coach at Glade Central, spent a little time with us. Troy, you left me, man. I did not know.
Yeah, man.
But I got to tell you, it is unbelievable that guy played at such a high level.
Yes.
Ends up coming back here.
Yeah.
Right, he could be anywhere he wants with his family, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this really kind of tells you how important this community is to him, and I think when you look at the long list of guys who are actually giving back to this community, that really shows you how much the community really means to these guys. So to see Jesse Hester come back here and mentor a lot of these kids in the area, that it doesn't surprise me, because he was that guy who kind of took me under his wing, took a young Isaac Bruce under his wing, kind of showed us how it is to be a pro, taught us the little things about route running, and now he's passing on that knowledge back to these young kids.
I can't think of anything cooler than a guy growing up here and going, wow, all these guys have made it to the NFL. Pretty good list at both schools, right, to be able to do it. We're at the Muck Bowl here. Yeah, for Pahokee and Glade Central. It's been around forever. It is a huge game. It's a little area that nobody ever talks about until you hear about all those NFL names, and you go, wow, all those guys came out of that small area, man, in the list, including Lewis Oliver right off the bat with the Miami Dolphins, a former first-round pick. Now, a lot of them have ended up going to Florida and Florida State through the year, right? That's been a big part of it, but listen, you look at that list: Lewis Oliver, Fred Taylor, Santonio Holmes, Travis Benjamin, Kelvin. I started looking, going, wait a sec, man. I got to look it up to make sure these guys all came from these two schools.
I'm telling you, the first time I ever saw Kelvin Benjamin, I went to Dillard High School versus Glade Central down at Dillard. Yeah. And I said to Jesse, is he a receiver or a tight end?
Yeah.
I mean, had to be the biggest kid that I've ever seen. And he said, no, Troy, he's a receiver. He runs a 4.4.
That's a big man, no question. Hey, real quickly, Dolphins, Jets tomorrow. We're not done. Our weekend's not over. Matter of fact, it's just getting started here from last week, a regular season week of high school football, the playoffs start. But Dolphins getting ready to start second half. Jets tomorrow, Hard Rock Stadium. What do you think? Start second half. A lot of things got to get cleaned up after the way they played over last month. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think you can throw the records out the window, and when you look at the Jets and the Miami Dolphins, I just saw, they were showing a top 10 moments on ESPN. You know that it's a heated rivalry. When I look at the Miami Dolphins, they seem like a tired football team. But more importantly, a lot of mistakes defensively, and they turn a lot of people loose. So I think, our defense coordinator, Coach Burke, he's got a lot to clean up. And when, you talk to Coach Gase, he was very ornery this week. So you know that going into this week, he was going to clean up a lot of things. I think you're going to see a different Miami Dolphin football team coming out on Sunday. I think you're going to see them be aggressive. I think you're going to see them clean up those mistakes and really kind of get after the quarterback, because that was one of the things that we haven't really done a lot, especially on our defense. We haven't gotten after the quarterback. Like, I know Cam is coming off of knee surgery.
Pass rush has not been good enough.
And our defense had some holes. You had a couple guys coming back from injury. So I think it's going to be a good football game. I think they're going to play like the Miami Dolphins that we're used to seeing. But the one thing I felt like has been absent on the offensive side is running the football. Yeah. I think you got to run Gore. Gore is that sludge hammer that you run up in there. And, the first couple quarters, he may get you 4 and 5 yard runs. But when you get to that third and fourth quarter, those 5 yard runs turn to 7, 8, 10 yard runs. And then you got that lightning in the bottle with Kenyon Drake. I mean, he's a guy that you put him in space and get him on the outside, he can make a lot of good things happen.
That's been one of the positives for this team, the 1-2 punch of Frank Gore and Kenyon Drake. I think we both agree, and you just said it. We just want to see more of it. We want to see more plays, longer drives, controlling things, especially here in South Florida when they're playing at home, more of their weather. So I agree with you. I think it's amazing that we're halfway through the season. We're both offensive guys. All the mistakes the defense is making. Have so many guys wide open a week ago. Obviously, Matt Burke wasn't happy with it. Can you clean all that stuff up in a week, whatever? Do you simplify stuff? What do you do?
I think you go back to the basics. You simplify, and to me that's an easier fix, because now your guys know. Sometimes you got to go back to the basics, and going back to your base and having things from your base that guys know and understand, now they're in attacking mode. So I think it's things that they have to clean up, not that you need to clean up. You have to clean that up going into the second half of the football season.
Yeah. Hey, let's switch back here. We got some time left. I want to talk. You and I have been together for the whole high school football season. We've seen some really good teams.
Oh, yeah.
Best team you've seen play?
Man, Central.
Yeah, me too.
Central
City's got to be right up there.
Carroll City, man, like those teams have kind of separated themselves, and then St. Thomas Aquinas, you have to put those guys in there as well. They're getting down to that championship time. This is their time of year. Like, this is a time of year that all three of those teams that we mentioned they live for. And then you have the Cardinal Gibbons and the American Heritage. That clash is coming up pretty. That clash is going to come up again here soon. So it's going to be some interesting high school football in the next 3 or 4 weeks, and you're going to see some really good talent on the field, and you're going to see a lot of recruiters at these games, because this is, again, that the heart and soul of high school recruiting is in South Florida.
That's right. Pahokee in the playoffs, Glade Central in the playoffs. Now it's about finding out after this game tonight where they're all going to be going for the first round of the playoffs. And we were talking to Jesse before. He wasn't sure where they're going to end up, who they're going to play right off the bat, and we talked to him before. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's all about getting to the state championship and getting a chance to win all of this stuff. Also, while we're over here, talking about this Muck Bowl. Did you smell that barbecue over there?
Oh, yeah. We were trying to get some. We were trying to get some of Jason's money.
Well, I got to tell you something. We smell a lot of barbecue coming to these high school football games.
But we don't have any. But where's it at?
But over here they got a little different smell to that barbecue, as in better. Because that was coming in. I think they purposely, as you come through the front gate, they have that wind shooting that barbecue right through there. Chicken and ribs and all kinds of stuff. And then they tell us their sweet potato pie.
Oh, yeah. And the lemonade. And just a little sprinkle of that muck on there makes it special.
Well, welcome to Pahokee, right over here, man. It was, and there you go.
Sugar and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. What I'm talking about.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. That's right. Hey, sugar cane, you better have the best damn sugar around.
Absolutely.
You got that sugar cane growing out in these fields. Matter of fact, without exaggerating, I'm looking both ways, and I see sugar cane right there. That's sugar cane. We can go right over the fence and grab some sugar cane.
Actually, driving in here, this was the first time that I've seen it from a distance, but driving in, you actually kind of seen it kind of close up, and I slowed down to kind of appreciate it because I've never been that close to.
You know what else it is besides sugar cane they grow over here? Corn.
Really?
I did not know that till today.
Wow.
Been here a zillion years and had no idea. But, hey, the Muck Bowl's become through the years. A lot of it, not only have been great games, and I know it's mostly covered by the Palm Beach Post and not a lot by Dayton Broward, but the game over here for years, they've had great games. One's a 1A, one's a 4A school, but it doesn't matter when they all get together for this thing. And then second of all, the amount of players that go to college and then to the next and final level, the NFL, it's incredible with the names, Ricky Jackson, Anquan Ball. I mean,
oh, yeah, you can go on and on.
We got to put ourselves a heck
of a and there's a lot of guys that we're forgetting that played some quality years in the National Football League and been big-time football players.
No, it's absolutely crazy. Hey, real quickly, too, looking at the National Football League, we got some great games coming up. My gosh, if the Dolphins don't live up to the hype tomorrow at 1 o'clock, you got some really fun games. Let me see. Rams going to New Orleans.
They're going into New Orleans.
And then the sexy quarterback going to face Sunday night. That's got to be ridiculous. Rodgers against Tom Brady.
Air raid. That's going to be an air show.
I told her, just order out because we're getting in front of that TV and watch ourselves some football. We're going to find out. I think we'll find out a lot about where everybody stands after even tomorrow, even though we still got half the season.
Absolutely. I think you'll find out how good this Rams football team
Rams
is.
go on the road and beat the Saints.
Yeah.
NFC, we have a problem.
It's tough in New Orleans. It's tough to come out of there. But Drew Brees and Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and all those guys, they're primed and ready. This is a primetime game,
defense,
and this is a chance for those guys to say, hey, we're back. So it's going to be I love the matchup. I mean, again, you're going to have a lot of people glued to the television tomorrow afternoon.
All right, Brocktober now goes into Brockvember. What are your thoughts on Osweiler getting another start, and can he do enough till Ryan Tannehill comes back to get this team a win at home? Can he play like he did against Chicago?
I think the key to Brock Osweiler's success is the offensive line. But also they have to get him in rhythm. He has to get the ball out of the hands. I like to see him go down the field a little bit more.
I would.
I know he's dumping the ball off and we're getting it in the hands of our guys. Right. But I like to see him go down the field a little bit more. I like to see him take a few more chances. But the key to his success is actually a run game, number one.
I agree.
And then also the pass protection. We got to protect this guy, and we got to keep him clean.
You do know that they can run. It sure makes passing a lot easier when you can run off play action and get rid of the ball quickly, and guys are more worried about stopping the run instead of teeing off. And I totally agree with you. I look at the Jets, got a young quarterback who I think Sam Darnold's going to be really good. But right now he's 10 picks, 11 touchdown passes. You got to get after him. He's got to make some more mistakes.
We got to turn Cam loose. We got to turn our guys on the edge loose. And we have to get some push up front. I know Vince Taylor is hurt. He's out for the season on injured reserve.
That's a tough
that was a tough blow for us, but we picked up a few more guys. But I think that push up front by our young defensive line is going to be key to us actually having a good football game, because you want to make sure you put the pressure on Donald, because we got the guys in the back that can cover and make big plays. So, but I think the key is going to be our young front four getting that push, and Cam and those guys turning the corner and really getting after it.
Just got to play better, and really, you brought this up. They got to get off to a fast start in this game. Just can't fall behind. Got to get off to a fast start at home, and not give this Jets team any confidence that they can come back. You recall we jump out on 20-0 up in New York, and got some big takeaways when they did make a couple runs at them. But boy, I'll tell you what, having that lead makes things a lot easier for sure when you're looking to get it. Hey, listen, I know it's been ugly, and the last month has not been good football at times. It's just been awful defensively, especially. But you got a chance to get back to 5-4, and then go to Green Bay, which is not going to be easy, but just getting over 500 again, trying to get some confidence and get rid of all the mistakes.
This is the grinding part of the season. I think this is the thing that's going to really make or break the Miami Dolphins when you really think about it. You have a tough second half of the season. You have some tough opponents. You got some NFC
little
North
Minnesota,
opponents.
little New England, little Jacksonville.
So you have some guys, but again, you have to play mistake-free football. Right. You have to be able to protect the football. You can't give up the big runs up the middle, because that was another thing that we haven't really touched on. We've given up a lot of runs up the middle.
Between the tackles.
Absolutely. So I just think that it's going to be tough sledding for the Miami Dolphins, but that's how you want it. Because I think when you get into that part of the season, you already know that it's a chance to make the playoffs. And if you can get through this part of the season, you're actually going to be playoff ready.
Let me ask you about Mike Gesicki. Plays a tight end position, second-round pick of Penn State.
Yeah.
What do you think? Obviously very athletic. I think we understand
yes, absolutely. I think he is probably one of the most athletic tight ends in the National Football League.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I know it sounds crazy. People are going to go, what's Troy that guy,
I don't think people see it.
A freak, yeah.
I don't think people see it.
We haven't got a chance to see enough of it for people to see, right?
But for me, I think Mike has to be a better inline blocker if he wants to be an every-down football player.
You think that helps him if he can block a little better as a receiver?
I think it helps you be an every-down player. And that's what you want. Ultimately, that's what Gesicki wants to be. He wants to be an inline player. But, again, he's still young. He's still learning.
He can get a lot bigger.
And you know what? When you think about the guys that can help him, and this is the same thing that happened to me when I came into the National Football League, the guys that helped me learn how to block were, my outside linebackers, were the Chris Martins and the
Those
Henry
guys
Rollins.
Would tell you what they saw.
No, they would take me after practice, and we would go at it. I mean, and they would teach me, hey, these different angles and making sure I got my hands inside and all of those things. And we went at it after every single practice. Wow. And that's how I learned how to block. And I think that's what it's going to take to get him to the next level, because I want to see him be an every-down football player.
Yeah, and he'll only help his pass receiving.
Absolutely.
The better he gets, he'll be a lot more productive on first and second down.
If you ever watch Tony Gonzalez he's not one of those guys that's going to blow you off the ball. I played with Tony in Kansas City. But he was a guy that got in your way. He was a guy that was a pest. He didn't have to blow you off the ball, but he didn't allow the penetration. Right. And he stayed in front of his guys, and maybe that's a method that he could use to stay out on the field and be that every down football player that we're talking about.
It's going to be interesting. Ryan Tannehill so far this year, what do you think? Of course, the hot topic, and we're not trying to run from it here. We're going to make sure we spend some time on it. The Ryan Tannehill stuff. We saw Adam Gase really defend his starting quarterback. Ryan's got to play better. There's no doubt about it. We need to see it when he comes back from this injury that he'll be out. This will be his fourth game he misses. What you've had a chance to watch about every throw now, either in practice or in games. Your thoughts on Ryan?
I think Ryan has to get the ball out of his hands a lot faster. I think Ryan has a tendency to hold on to the football sometimes. And to me, I think sometimes you take unnecessary sacks. One thing you got to do is live to be able to play another down. But I think he has to – right now I think Ryan Tannehill is playing for his career. So when he comes back, he has to have this mindset that I need to win every snap.
Need to bring my best.
But I need to bring my A game. So I think he has a chance to do it. But again, the key to keeping Ryan Tannehill at his best is protection. We have to be better up front for Ryan Tannehill to be at his best.
Two things that he does do well. I feel like I've been talking about this for a long time now. One of the hot topics that everybody in South Florida, especially Dolphin fans, talk about. Very athletic, read option,
Absolutely.
Getting outside the pocket, and second throwing on the run outside the pocket. He's been very good. I think he's gotten a lot better on the deep pass.
Yeah.
But as you said, you got to get rid of the football. You got to feel pressure, so you don't have the defensive scores bite you in the butt like they did against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And those got to be things that he sees, which, by the way, Brock Osweiler has done a better job with some of those things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Throw it away.
Get
rid of it.
You got to know
when up in my head. Here it goes. It's gone.
You got to know when to say, "Oh, okay, we'll live to play another play. We got another down." So I think that's some of the things that Ryan Tannehill has to do. All the things that you talked about. I mean, throwing on the run, he needs to do more of that. You know what I mean? To get him into a rhythm. But one thing I noticed about Ryan, he is a rhythm quarterback. He is a guy that you get him into a rhythm, and he could be a great quarterback.
He
but
when
when
he
he's
fire
not
off a lot of
when he's
completions.
not in the rhythm, it's tough.
Yeah. Hey, and the other guy's been quietly, and I do mean quietly, really good, is the first-round pick of the Miami Dolphins. Gray Dow's one of the top cover corners in the National Football League right now, halfway through the season, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and how good he is. We've got him listed as a safety.
Yes.
But in today's defenses, he plays a lot of nickel, plays dime, moves around. I want to see him on the field every snap.
Me too. I mean, he's a guy
that
when you come, but he came in already NFL ready. I mean, when you play as a defensive back in that scheme in Alabama, he was defensive ready. He was NFL ready when he came to the Miami Dolphins.
That's a great point.
I think when you look at it, you want to get your best guys on the field. And right now, with some of the injuries that we have, Minkah's a guy that can play safety, can play corner, can play inside, can play outside. I mean, he does a phenomenal job.
You know, we've talked about this on the radio. I don't know how you feel. Is there a chance if Bobby McCain goes down, you could line him up at corner and feel comfortable?
I would
pure corner on the outside.
Honestly, I would feel comfortable lining him up at corner and keeping Bobby inside at his normal, comfortable position.
I don't think that's crazy. I know that coaches might think we're both nuts, but
because now you got your best football players on the football field. I mean, you think about it.
Bobby's much better, obviously, inside where he spent.
That's where he's made his money.
And it's right. And he got that new contract off what he does inside.
Absolutely.
Now he's asked to go out and cover big horses on the outside.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think that it's asking too much when you have a big corner playing against these big receivers. You keep him where he's at. You still got Jones and those guys in the back, and it strengthens our defense. I mean.
No, you got TJ back
Howard's
there.
Playing, and Howard's playing out of this world right now. So I think when you got your best football players on the field, you give us the best chance to win.
Yeah. We were all wondering before the season started how three safeties will work out. I think we see it now because Minkah is a heck of a lot better at everything than maybe I thought. I didn't know he could do everything the way he's done it. So we got the Pahokee and Glade Central bands coming in. Man, it's high school football here on a Saturday night. I know it's big. We got Twan Russell, former Dolphin. We even got him, to get him out of that St. Thomas area and get him with us, man, is beautiful right here.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, you got to get in. There it is.
You already know this is.
That's right. That's right. That just shows you none of us ever grow up, man. We get around high school football. We all get a little immature. We just can't help ourselves. That's exactly what happens right there.
Oh, boy.
So it's been all crazy. But, hey, listen. Pahokee, Glade Central, better known as the Muck Bowl. And by the way, the name, just when I got here, Anquan Bolden Stadium.
Big time.
Right, giving a lot of money back to this community, lives in Palm Beach. Jesse Hester, head football coach for Glade Central, who played forever in the National Football League, coming back here to be part of this community and be the head coach. So many great stories with so many unbelievable players that have both played at both Pahokee and Glade Central, where I think it's fair to say high school football might be bigger in this community.
Oh yeah.
Than just about anywhere in the country.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I don't doubt that. I mean, again, when you have your whole community show up to support these football teams, and I mean the whole communities here, there's nothing like it in the country.
Well, I'll tell you, we've been talking about it. And if you're not familiar and watching our high school football show for the first time, this is our last week of regular season football. Matter of fact, Glade Central 6-3. Pahokee comes in at 5-4, but don't worry, win or lose, they're both going to be in the playoffs. Both a 1A and a 4A schools. But it's all about just getting in position. It's going to wrap it up tonight for high school football in the regular season here in South Florida. Then the playoffs will start next week, and then it gets real fun right off the bat. We'll have upsets and. Right, you ain't ready
Absolutely.
to play, and
yeah.
We'll have Miramar and Western and Plantation all going to be battling. Deerfield Beach is in. That's going to be fun. And then the old guys down in Dade, we always talk about Columbus, Northwestern, Central, Carroll City.
Booker T.
Booker T is going to be,
absolutely.
Hey, we say those names, right? That's every year, man. It's every year. It's just a matter of whether they're going to be playing in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach County in the first round of the playoffs, and American Heritage and Cardinal Gibbons, St. Thomas Aquinas. So it's always a great time of the year, getting into November now and trying to figure out who's going to have a shot to go to these finals in the States, where everybody wants to get to in Orlando.
The districts are good, but getting to the States is the ultimate goal for every football team that goes into the districts. So it's going to be fun to see. I love South Florida football. I mean, I thought Pennsylvania's football was good, but until I got here to South Florida. But it has to be we have the top athletes here in South Florida of all across the land when it comes to high school football.
It is interesting. I don't know if you and I have lived down here too long to always be preaching how good our high school football is down here, but we were just telling you, if you're just joining us, when we got here tonight, there's 2 hours before the game, and it's two ways, one way in, one way out, and it was packed. It was backed up to the main road going both ways.
Yeah.
It was just crazy trying to get in here, waiting for the gates to open to get set up. And again, we've talked about it. Pahokee and Glade Central, very close to each other here, and everybody's related. Everybody's a neighbor. They just happen to be either on one side or the other. And by the way, both sides are getting real close to full right now. It's amazing. I can tell you Monday morning when I go on the radio, I'm going to say, listen, I know when they play big games at Traspal, they get big crowds, but they got nothing on Glade Central, the Pahokee area, on how quickly people get to these games.
Oh, yeah.
And how serious. And bring in the proper barbecue for everybody. It's beautiful, man.
I think that's what they were lining up outside for.
That was it?
Absolutely.
Warming up here with that damn food they have, which looks so good. So it's really been awesome. I tell anybody, if you ever get a chance to come to a big game over here, whether it's Pahokee or just a few miles away to Glade Central where they're having their field redone. I believe the Orange Bowl jumped in and redid that field, which I just think is fantastic what they're doing. Twan, go ahead and bring it in. We might as well tease everybody because it used to be we talked a lot about sex. Now it's mostly food. So.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's how we do it over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had that kind of barbecue when you were growing up. Do you have that kind right there?
No, we mainly had hot dogs and sausages and potato chips.
Coming from California, our barbecue wasn't as good either, I got to be honest, until you get down here to the south.
Oh, wow, the lemonade, too.
I'm trying to figure out how we got Twan to come over. Now it's all starting to make sense, man. How we got Twan out of there. But this is great, man. This is
what it's all about. This is what community is all about.
That's right.
You get some homemade food, you get some barbecue, you get the community out here. This is what it's all about.
And it's packed outside, and people still coming in, but it's always a good time. And I want to thank the Miami Dolphins for high school football and the commitment that they've made. Guys like Troy Drayton next to me and Twan, and everybody else that's been involved in this. It's been a big part of it, and letting people know what we have down here in our community. Palm Beach, out here in this area, Dade, Broward, all the way down to the Keys.
Absolutely.
Being able to show you games every week and talk high school football with professional football, it's a lot of fun. Friday or Saturday, even Thursday night games, a lot of cases down in Dade County. It's been great all year. Want to thank the good folks from Nike.
Yeah.
Who have also
provided us with some nice shirts, nice gear.
Sponsor everything we're doing, and just keep coming out with stuff that's just better and better for high school, college, and professionals. And so I just want to, it's the Ottawa High School Football Friday. It's presented by Nike. Can't thank them enough. The season's arrived, and it's time to get the latest gear, and the latest gear is awesome. So check out Nike.com for more information to get all the latest stuff. They're coming out, cool stuff from Nike. So, Troy, been great having you, brother.
Oh, it's also a pleasure, man.
Also fun. Of course, Dolphins tomorrow, 1 o'clock against those stinking New York Jets. Here we go again. Can the Dolphins sweep the Jets? You know they're going to be hungry to try to split this series at Hard Rock Stadium. That's going to do it from Anquan Bolden Stadium. Pahokee getting ready to play Glade Central. Want to thank everybody for being with us, and have a great weekend, everybody.